by now, but it's you I'm leaving on. You've always kept me safe from harm, like a child in your arms. You guarded me, your heart is facing down. But it's just one of those days, all in every way. Will you hold me while I cry? Try to be strong, and make one go all around. I run by the key and heal my broken heart. You have truly been a friend, reaching out to lend a hand. Friend, you could have passed me by. Passing through a strange day, let my spirit run free. Will you hold me while I cry? I beg you a lot of your time, when I'm precious to be strong. Should be standing by now, but it's you I'm leaning on. You've always kept me safe from harm, like a child in your arms. You guarded me, your heart you face the line. This is one of those days, all in every way. Will you hold me while I cry? You've always kept me safe from harm, like a child in your arms. You guarded me, your heart you face the line. Lord, it's just one of those days, all in every way. Will you hold me while I cry? Amen. Amen. Let's take a break right there. And then one of those days. You ever had one of those days? Some of us never have one of those days, right? There's people who just have a perfect life every day, right? Nothing ever goes wrong. What's the little melody I want to play? I think almost everybody will recognize it. Kind of goes along with You guys, everybody remember, do you hear that, remember that melody, you remember that song? Most everybody here has been around, that song was recorded, that melody was the last track on a debut album in 1973 for a new artist. And he recorded this song, and the name of the song was Simple Man. It's a Leonard Skinner song. And that day it would have been considered rock and roll, but the song had a really good message. The song was really said a lot. The song actually was about a conversation he'd had with his mother about life and about as he was going out and beginning his career as a musician and as an artist. And one of the lines in the song says, "And don't forget, son, there's someone up above." And another part of one of the verses, it says, "Forget your lust for the rich man's gold. All that you need is in your soul." You know, a lot of times, the idea of a simple life, the song reminds the boy to just lead a simple life, to be a simple man. Don't get complicated. Don't let the complications of the world get so enthralled in your life that you forget who you are or where you came from or what is most important in life. That's what the song basically is all about. Now, my mom and my dad would have been very upset at me for listening to the music because it's rock and roll music, and rock and roll music was going to destroy the world, and on and on and on we go. But we see a lot of things that the people, the parents of these people that were writing this music and singing this music, they instilled in their kids some very important values. And being a simple man, now we all look forward to, we all strive. I think probably everybody works and strives and works hard to try to just develop that simple life. Simplicity, not complicated. And simplicity, by definition, is the quality or condition of being easy to understand or do. And simple, by the same, is easily understood or done, presenting no difficulty. A simple life with no difficulty. Isn't that what we look for? Isn't that we hope we wake up in the morning, Lord, just let me have an easy day with no trouble. And then we sing the song, it's been one of those days I've been falling every way, would you just hold me while I cry? See, that simple life is something that's elusive. It's not something that's a reality. And we gotta, if we want to understand really what a simple life is, we have to come back to where a simple life would come from. And that would be understanding Scripture and the way God would have us to understand the way His life, the way He intended our life to be. And nowhere in the Bible does He tell us that your life is going to be simple and there's not going to be any difficulties. That's not there. As a matter of fact, the word simple is found in the King James Bible 20 times. 3 times in Psalms, 1 time in Ecclesiastes, and 2 times in Romans, and 16 times in Proverbs, or 14 times in Proverbs. Now, if you really want to get some direction for your life, read the book of Proverbs. You can meditate on that book for a long, long, long time. And it gives us a lot of instruction, a lot of things, but simple, the Hebrew translation of the word, where's it at? Pethe, what pethi is, or pethi is the way they say it, that's what they translate in English to be simple. But when the Bible talks about it, when they talk about it in the Scripture, sometimes it's kind of a good sense, and sometimes it's not so good. But let's look at one, Psalms 19. Psalms 19 and verse 7. The law of the Lord is perfect, converting the soul. The testimony of the Lord is true, making wise the simple. He's talking about making simple, open-minded, receiving type of people wise. That's changing us from simple to wise. Now, this, and sometimes it's not so kind. The definition or the use of that word, Proverbs 7 and 7 and 8. And behold, among the simple ones is discerned among the youths a young man void of understanding, passing through the street near her corner, and when he went the way to her house. What he's talking about there is not understanding and not having a grasp of things and being simple-minded. And in almost every case that the Bible mentions the word simple, that's how it refers to it, as being simple-minded, not having much knowledge or understanding. Now, I don't know that I want to have a simple life if being simple means having no knowledge or no understanding. See, the Bible talks about that someone that would be simple would be someone that is lacking knowledge and understanding of the way that he should live life. That simplicity is not something that is, again, it's elusive. It's not something that we get a hold of very easily. And it's not something that really, realistically, you can attain having that simple life. I was thinking this last week about all the people that I've known and all the different people that I've come in contact with over the years, and I don't recall anybody ever tell me, oh, I've had the simplest life in the whole life. Nothing has ever gone wrong. It's been great the whole time. There's people that handle it a lot better. There's people that have a better attitude, but it's still not simple. It still doesn't come to the place. And again, when we understand what the Bible talks about being simple, we really don't want to get through life without understanding, without knowledge. And he tells us there, what he told us in Psalms was the word penetrates, and the word of the Lord is true, and it brings us to an understanding to where we're not simple-minded. You see, it's about understanding the difference between a simple life and being simple. Let's go to Matthew chapter 8. Matthew chapter 8, 18 through 20. Now when Jesus saw the great multitudes about him, he gave commandment to depart unto the other side. And a certain scribe came and said unto him, Master, I will follow thee whithersoever thou goest. And Jesus said unto him, The foxes have holes, and the birds of the air have nests, but the Son of Man hath nowhere to lay his head. Jesus lived a simple life. The way that he would want us to live a simple life. Jesus' focus was to do what his Father sent him to do. It wasn't simple, it wasn't easy, but he kept it simple by staying focused on what God wanted him to do. He allowed God to give him direction. When he needed direction, he would go and pray and ask the Father which way he should go and how he should go and what he wished to do. When he was tempted of the devil, after he was done, he went in the desert and he prayed. And he would go and he'd pray for 40 days, or he'd go and pray for 3 days, but he always looked for direction for God because that's what made his life simple. Not that there wasn't complications, not that there wasn't people that tried to kill him, and eventually they did, but the simplicity of it was knowing that God was leading his steps. That's what makes our life simple. That's what makes us have peace and understanding in our life, is knowing that what I'm doing is what God would have me to do. This morning we're up and we're getting ready to go and getting dressed, and Desi goes, well, I don't know what to wear. And I said, well, just ask the Lord. She said, I did, but he hasn't told me yet. And I said, he told you, you just ain't agreeing with him. So we get in the car, and she said, you were right. As soon as I went, she said, when I got out of bed, I knew what I was supposed to wear. But I decided I wasn't wearing that today. But see, we complicate it, we make it distracting. We cause ourselves to have these problems because we don't follow every step that God tells us to take. So after I told her that God had told you you just weren't listening, I went outside and I was headed to the wash house to go get ready, and I have a coffee in my hand, and the Lord goes, you know what it is? You got a little time, let's just take a walk. Remember I was talking about the song, Just a Closer Walk with You? When God gives us an opportunity, and he calls on us for something, the simplicity of life is adhering to that call. The peace and the comfort and the joy that we want to acquire in our life, the simple thing we're looking for, is by listening to his direction. So I just took a little walk. I just walked out across the place and around and back, and enjoyed my coffee and just sat there and kind of in the presence of the Lord, just enjoyed the morning. And I thought, wow, what a beautiful morning this is. I would have missed it otherwise, because I just went to the wash house, took a shower, got ready, and got out and ran in the house and didn't want to know why Dessa wasn't ready yet. So I got back in the house, I told her, I said, it was pretty amazing going out this morning. The Lord said, you got time, let's just go for a little walk. And we just walked out and visited for a little bit, and I came back. She goes, he knew I was in here arguing with him about what I was going to wear, so he took you for a walk to kill a little time. That's exactly how much God cares about you. That's just exactly how involved in your life he wants to be. To where everything you do, you look to him for direction or for step or for what's next. Every time, every little thing that you do, he wants to be part of it. He wants to be your best friend. He wants to walk with you. He wants to be part of your life. Every bit of your life. Not just for an hour on Sunday or once in a while during the week when you think to pray. He wants to be just the most innermost part of your life is where he wants to be. Involved in every little aspect of it. And when you do that, you get joy out of it. When you let him into that part of your life, it brings joy, and it brings peace, and it brings understanding, and it brings all kinds of things that he promises in his word. But we complicate it. In search of a simpler life, we complicate the path by not paying attention to the one that wants to lead us in the path of righteousness. He wants to lead us in the path of joy. He wants to lead us into all the things we're looking for. He wants to bring us right into that. And the minute he says, okay, go here. No, I ain't doing that. I need you to do that. No, I ain't doing that. So many times that I could go on and on and on for quite a long spell today of things that God has given us instruction to do. And we begin to argue right away. Well, I don't know, that just don't look right. But the greatest peace is when he gives you something to do and you just step out and do it. Without contemplating it, without thinking about it, without trying to rationalize it. When God says, I need you to go do that, just go do it. Just step out and go. A lot of times he doesn't want you to do it. He just wants to know if you'll do what he asks you to do. He just wants you to know that he's not directing your steps in a way that's harmful or asking you to do something you don't want to do. He's just wanting you to be obedient. And in the obedience, you find peace. God steps you out and says, go do this. Okay, we're going to go do that. And then the door turns and you can't do that. It's like, wow, I didn't hurt anything. I didn't lose anything other than I did gain a lot because I became obedient to my Lord. You know, last night, laying awake and just praying, just talking to the Lord and just listening to what he had to say and thinking about some scriptures that are frequently on my mind and things I frequently say about how God is in control of every aspect of your life. I was thinking about Sharon and praying about Sharon. I was praying for the McCain family. It's very difficult for any family to lose a loved one, but for someone of that stature with that many TV cameras and that many people and that many stuff around, it's got to be 10 times as hard for them. They have no time for just sitting down and visiting with one another. They got people and they can't go outside. They can't do anything. They can't get in a car and go anywhere without somebody following the TV camera and asking them questions. How are you holding up? Well, wouldn't you like if they just say the truth? I'd be holding up real fine if y'all leave me alone. But you know that, so I started just praying for those people and praying for those kind of things. And again, I was thinking about Sharon and about they had planned on leaving today after church. They were headed out. And I thought, well, Lord, it's kind of amazing. I always make the comment that God is in control of every aspect of your life. And in a sense of the word, he is in control of everything. But I reminded me of last week when it was raining so hard, and I was praying, like, Lord, it's kind of strange that we trust you to be in control of everything, but then these storms come and they're so big and they're so, the thunder and the lightning last Wednesday night about midnight was just atrocious. It was frightening. And I was just asking the Lord, why do these things happen that would cause us to be frightened? And we count on you to be in control of everything. And this morning the Lord said, it's not that I'm in control of everything like the way you think about it. God has the power over everything. It rains on the unjust and the just. It rains because it rains. The climate of the earth is the climate of the earth, and it works, and God has power over it. When David wanted it to not rain, David prayed in David's faith, and God caused it to not rain for the course of 3 years over the earth. And when David prayed again, it rained again. God has the power over it. But he doesn't sit up there in heaven and go, okay, watch this lightning strike. Boom! That ought to scare him really good. That's not that God, he's in control by having power over, but he doesn't, I don't believe that God just makes everything, is in control of every raindrop. And why did that? No, it's just the world that we live in. It evolves and it goes on and it just continues to go on. And God has power. He tells us in Matthew, all power is given to me in heaven and earth. He has power over it all. And if your faith in him is strong enough, you have power over it all. He tells us if you have the faith as a grain of mustard seed, you can tell this mountain to be removed into the sea and it'll go. But you've got to believe it without any doubt. See, David, when he prayed for it to rain again, when he prayed for it to stop raining, he believed that God had the power over the rain. And God does have the power over the rain, and God made it stop raining. And he knew that God had the power over the rain, so when he began to pray again for it to rain, the servant kept running, coming back, no clouds, go again. Because I know if I keep praying, I know that God will make it rain. See, that's the simplicity of life. That's how simple it is putting our trust completely in God, that he does have the power over everything. He has the power over Sharon's healing. How fast it'll go, how slow it'll go, how good it'll heal. He has the power over all of that. He has the power over the surgeon's hands. He has the power over everything. We just have to pray, trust, and believe in our prayers that through his power that we have through Jesus Christ, these things happen. That's the simplicity of life. That's the understanding of like, wow, it really, there's all kind of weird things going to happen, but God has the power over it. And he gives us the power through prayer to call on him and